Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sky is the Limit. I am your host Khalid. A hero is one who is selfless, who is generous in spirit, who saves lives and who helps others. Our guest in this very episode is one such person who fits all these qualities to the T. In fact, this person is not a hero, this person is a heroine. She has been working with the children in need in Pakistan since so many years and continues to do so. Her name is Hashmat Effendi, and let's try to decipher the person behind the personality in this very episode. Stay tuned.
Because at that time it was very fresh. There used to be fruit trees everywhere, and British Library was in Melody. We used to walk there. Everything was clean and spotless.
And it used to rain every 3 or 4 days in the summers when it used to get hot.
Yes, and then when I traveled to USA and we went to see Washington DC, and we saw all the capital, then I realized that Islamabad is just like DC. All the streets, you know, the concept of streets and sectors, G64 and F6, you know, all how it's divided in blocks, it's exactly like DC.
All right. How many brothers and sisters are you?
We are 5.
All right.
And 2 sisters and 3 brothers, and I'm number 2.
How was your relationship, A, with your parents and B, with your siblings?
My parents gave me a lot of love, and I was a very obedient and kind of a going on a straight line kind of a child. I was very studious, but I was very involved in social work when I was growing up. I mean, when I was 10 years old, people used to call me Gori Aya.
And why was that?
In Islamabad, yes.
But why was that?
Because, you know, I studied in ICG. First I was in Presentation Convent. Then in grade 5th, I moved to IEC. At that time, IEC was Islamabad Model School for Girls.
All right.
So I studied there, and my other siblings were studying in Islamabad Model School for Boys, which is next to Covered Market. So I used to literally, believe me, used to miss my bus, and I used to walk home, straight walk from there, and we lived one street after the Covered Market Street, and there used to be a bus stop in front of Polyclinic, and I used to pick up the children from there. I used to take them, poor children with little wounds or dirty, they need to be bathed, and I used to take them home. I used to bathe them, I used to lay them on my bed, and I used to tell them, please don't cry, don't make noise, my dad will find out and he will be upset. And because in that time you were not mingling with, this is the way our social society is, you don't mingle with random people, you only mingle with people you know. So so people started calling me Gori Aya. Whenever they used to see me, I'm holding somebody's random child in my lap and cleaning their nose and wiping their tears. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then I started, in summers, I started volunteering in my father's office. It was a state office which is right in front of, in the back side of Melody, where that masjid is also. So I started volunteering there, and my first job as a volunteer was I used to take random papers, I used to cut them, make a book, take a pencil, and used to go to Faizabad Yatim Khana and used to give it to the children.
All right. Well, so that sense of helping others, of being there for others, especially for the kids, was always there since you were a kid yourself?
Actually, I used to, because I started mingling with these people, so I used to eat their food. And one time I got very sick and I had a severe diarrhea and I was almost gone. And my father took me to Polyclinic, and that was the moment that changed my life. Because I realized the way because my dad was the first state officer, he used to allot homes to people. He was very well known in Islamabad in those days. So Papa took me there, and I noticed that everybody was coming and meeting him. And there was a huge line. And my dad went straight in the room, and they gave me Bascopon injection, and I got treated, and then they insisted on taking these medicines home. And when I came home, I told my dad that today, you will be punished.
Oh.
And my dad said, for what? My dad was a very religious, he used to offer his prayers, he was very straightforward, God-fearing person. And he said, why? I said, you broke that line. And poor people were sitting, and one thing I noticed, those people were sitting on the ground and they were looking up like this, and we were walking and we were looking down at them. That really hurted me. I asked my dad, why don't they have chairs so we can talk to those people on the same level? So then what I started doing, I realized, I think I was 11 years old. I realized that my dad has contacts. So what I started doing is that randomly picking patients, and anybody who says, oh, my child is sick, don't worry, I will get treated. And I used to pick them, take it to the Polyclinic. And I used to tell them, hey, my dad has sent them. And they used to get A1 treatment.
All right.
Then one day, somebody called my dad and told him that, the patient you are sending, we are treating them. Then my dad asked me, your daughter brought it. So I told Papa, I'm just using your contacts. I'm not using your money or your time. I'm just using your contacts. So this is how, and it's very contagious, Serving other is like an addiction. You just, when you get used to of that, it comes in your bloodstream that
All
you
right.
really want to help and help and help.
All right, so Hashmat Effendi, you did your FA from ICG, and then you went to the college in F7, the Women's College, where you did your bachelor's degree. Did that compassion for young children, that helping young children continue even in that phase?
Yes, it did. It did because it was a bigger college, and I used to start working with actually in the employees of that institution and their families, and if the girl is getting married, I used to give them clothes. So this is how it moved, and it's a rather a little funny story. When I got engaged with my husband, my in-laws brought me like 11 outfits. It's a tradition. So I started giving those outfits on rent
Right.
to help more people. I used to say, you take it, you need to wear it, dry cleaned it, and bring it back.
All right.
So it's like, you know, there is no boundaries to help. You know, you can, even if it's a drop in an ocean, if that drop is not there, it will be missed.
That is so true. Before the interview, you were telling me that a lot of people came for your rishta, so as to say, and they were very kind of taken aback by the fact that you used to help the destitute children and those in need, and a lot of people did not like that fact. How true is that?
Actually, this is, I don't know about now, but at that time, that's how the social society was. Different, you know, groups don't mingle with each other. And there is one is like professional life where you work and then you go home and you have your own family life. What I used to do, I used to bring them home. That was the big step.
All right.
So lots of people didn't like them, and also I used to help children with different medical problems, and people used to say that if the child has pneumonia, if the child has jaundice, or if the child has liver disease, oh, she's always carrying a baby and helping, you know, so maybe she's the carrier of that infection. So yeah, a lot of people used to tell that to my parents.
All right. Now let's come to your husband, Tariq Effendi. The proposal for marriage for this guy comes, but this time things are different. Why was it that way?
Actually, I was not that much interested in that proposal because he was in United States, and I was in the peak of my, you know, finished my college. I was audited to be a PTV newscaster. I was going to radio station, Fauji Bhaiyon ka program with my dad. You know, I used to go to, you know, I used to be a flower girl when the different dignitaries used to come. So, and I used to do announcements in President House. So at that time I was in the peak of all that, and I didn't want it to leave the country. But my mother was in love with him.
All right.
And my mother told me that she thinks that he will be a perfect husband, and the biggest thing that she believes is that he will never stop me with my work.
With the social work that you're
With my
doing.
social work. He said he will understand your dedication and your commitment.
All right.
Rather than my passion.
All right. And speaking of passion, you did audition for being PTV news anchor that you were selected for. Before that, you were also working for Radio Pakistan. And as you said, you were presenting different events at the President House as well. How was that? How was that experience like for you?
It is a beautiful experience, and you know what? Everything I do in life, everything narrows to the same thing, helping children. Because at very young age, I realized that everything in Pakistan is contacts. So I said, if I will read the news, if I will go to the governor house or to the president house, I will have more contacts and I will be able to help more children.
Okay.
So and this is the way I am still the same way. And because I'm a very modest, simple person, and I'm still doing the same thing. I'm just begging people to help these children. So it was a beautiful experience. The most beautiful thing about that is that I got a lot of love from my elders, and that taught me to give back that
Whether
love.
it be from teachers or your parents.
You know, when my proposal came, my parents said yes, then my uncle said yes, then poor my husband has to meet my 5 teachers because I told him, my parents said, no, they play a very important role. There used to be a Urdu teacher, Jane Alam Sahab from ICB. So my husband met him, and then my teacher from Presentation Convent, Sister Madeline. So my husband had to meet everyone to be approved. So they played a very important role in making my personality,
All right.
enhancing the good quality.
I think that's very important to have those mentors when you are growing up, whether it be in the shape of parents or good teachers or even other people that surround you, because that is how your personality is developed, and that is how you develop compassion or love for others, because it is the love and compassion that those people around you give you that you give back to others.
And you know, one thing that I really would like a message for the parents: spend time with your children.
We are in conversation with Hashmat Effendi. We'll take a break, and after that we'll introduce you to the man who entered Hashmat Effendi's life and added color to it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. And now we've been joined by Mr. Tariq Effendi. Tariq sir, thank you very much to have also given us a little bit of time to get to know Hashmat Effendi. Tell me, what was your first thought that came into your mind when you saw her, when of course your family had proposed her name as your future spouse?
I was absolutely thrilled, delighted. She was the best girl that one could even ever imagine.
All right. If I had to ask you, how would you describe Hashmat Effendi to us? What would you say?
She is made of love. That's her core. She gives so much love to anybody and everybody that she feels is deserving.
All right.
She has given tremendous love to us as a family, myself personally, to her children. She has raised 3 wonderful boys who are wonderful people, no doubt about it. They are successful in life, they're very well educated, and she's never compromised anything in her development.
All right. Thank you so very much, Tariq Effendi Sahab, to have given us a little insight from your perspective on what Hashmat Effendi is all about. We'll be right back after a break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and continuing our conversation with Hashmat Effendi. Ma'am, you've raised 3 wonderful kids. They both have different careers. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
It's a pure blessing from Allah. you know, when I was giving back to the creators, people, mankind. Allah blessed me with 3 children. My main focus was, I used to tell them, it's okay if you bring B grades, but I don't want to, you have to be a good person, no complaints, you know, honest person. Character building was number 1, honesty was number 1 in my agenda. The oldest one was, mashallah, very intelligent. He did his master's in electrical engineering from Cornell. He made into a Guinness Book of World Record in 2000. He invented the world's largest working guitar.
Okay.
And it was his physics project. Then he went to Cornell. He studied from there. He got married. He has, mashallah, really beautiful 2 children.
Oh, so you're a grandmother?
Yes.
Mashallah.
And those children, my grandchildren, helped me in my cancer fight.
Oh,
They
we
were
come to
the
that.
force behind the cancer fight. The middle one, he's a neurosurgeon. He loves the people in Pakistan. The youngest one is a plastic surgeon. So when he was a little boy, there was a shoe that came out, and it was an electric shoe. When you roll, it lights up. So I bought those shoes for the hospital children. And he asked me, he said, "Mom, where is my shoe?" So I said, I taught him that everything you give, you don't have to have it.
You don't have to own it.
Own it too, you know, so you need to, this is the time to give, not for your personal shopping. So he joined plastic surgery because he wants to come to Pakistan. Eventually, and he comes as a little boy. He went to Jacobabad a lot, and he loved Jacobabad. And so I told him when he was coming to Jacobabad, I said, I will take you only on one condition. When elders comes in, you need to stand up, respect. So after a while he came and he told me, "Mama, everybody who's coming here is an elder." So I'm tired of standing up. So I realized that.
Okay.
So alhamdulillah, they are all married, they are doing well.
All right. And speaking of your passion to help others, of course that continued in the States. When you got married, you still had kids, you did your masters. When and how did you start working in the social sector in the US?
Actually, I started working local projects like food pantries, making sandwiches for homeless, distributing blankets on winter nights, things like that I was doing. But my heart was always in Pakistan, because I grew up here and I knew the need, and I also knew the suffering of the people, and I also felt that how do you feel when you know this thing is available but it's beyond your reach. That was the driving force in my social work. So then we got an invitation from Sayyid Babar Ali and Chaudhry Ahmed Said. He just passed away, and he's the chairman of services industry. And Sayyid Babar Ali, he's the lump. He is an extraordinary person.
Yes.
And then when I came here to tour the hospital, they were open to give anything. So we started doing camps, and we used to bring surgeons.
Which year was that?
1996.
All right.
95 I came for a tour. 96 we decided, and we did our camps. And we used to bring the whole team. They used to, Shalimar Hospital used to host that, and we used to treat children free of charge. So you will not believe the resources, it is so true. When you take one step forward, Allah opens unlimited doors.
That is so true. And when you opened this door to help people in Pakistan, which was the speciality, which was the thing that you were focusing on exactly?
I was basically focusing on children who are suffering with their existing condition, which is curable, treatable, and after treating they will lead a normal life.
All right.
This is what we are just focusing on. Right. And especially the treatment is available, but it's beyond the reach of the parents.
All right.
So we used to treat the children here, the children that we cannot treat here, we take them to United States.
All right. So you said 95 you came here and you started, was the time that you started working and establishing those camps and letting people come, especially helping the children and the families. Were you taking the children from then,
Yes.
from the 90s? Yes. You had begun to take those children to the States, those who could not be treated in Pakistan.
Yes.
All right.
The first child that we took to America, I still remember, his name is Vasif. He was a little baby, and I still have his pictures with my son. At that time, my son was 4 years old, and his father was a shopkeeper in Anarkali, and he had Apert syndrome. So he went through massive surgeries.
Tell us what that syndrome is.
In that syndrome, and Dr. Asif will explain you in detail, but the bones are fused together. So the soft spot up there is not soft, and the bones are fused. The hands are also fused together. So as the child, and the surgery needs to be done when the child is a little, like a few months old baby. This baby was in 1 year old, and it's curable. And the hands, what they do is that they separate, they release the joints, and they make it a functional hand, so the child can grip and hold a pencil and things like that. Otherwise, it's totally fused, and the toes are also fused together.
All right. So you began this whole concept of helping the children of Pakistan from such social sectors who cannot financially help those children, the families that cannot financially help their children kind of get better, and you help them get better. Do you have an idea of how many children since the 90s you have helped become normal, better physically?
Thousands of children.
All right.
Thousands of children, and we have taken over 100 children to United States for free surgery, and in every child that we took to United States had to go through multiple surgeries. I mean, I'm like this one girl from Karachi who was an acid burn. She lived there for 6 years. She came back twice, and in 3 trips, 6 years, and she went through 39 surgeries. So these, and you know, she lost everything on her face, her nose, her eyes. So she got eye prosthetic, you know. So it's like a series of work which has to be under one roof. And these parents, they are very naive. They are, you know, poor. I don't want to use this word. But they don't know where to go and what to do. And the whole society, you don't see these people, these children. You know why? Because they are hidden in their storerooms. They don't bring them out. They don't go to school.
In the States, when you take those children to the States, are there ventures, social ventures or hospitals that also help them pro bono? Or is there money involved there as well?
It's pro bono.
All right.
Yes, it's pro bono. We have cost of their living. We pay some cost in their treatments, medicines and stuff, but they are huge surgeries. And medical treatment is very expensive, you know, everywhere.
I know.
And burns is one of the huge expense for treating the burn patients. So it's the combination of everything. Then we have a huge volunteer base, and we have a home called Healing Home, and it's like 4 homes, and we place them as a family, and then the volunteer comes in. We have a Pakistani consulate in Houston. The Council Journal gets involved too. And they live there as a family. We don't take parents, so I'm their mother. And my husband is the father. They all call me Mama.
All right.
And once they board the flight, they are my children.
All right.
And the parents, they do give me consent. It's a huge responsibility, and sometimes I get scared, but it's the only time when I get scared when I think. So I don't think.
All right.
I do it with love.
You opened up a burn center here at the Shalimar Hospital. When was that, and when did the idea come to you to kind of localize a center here as well, build something for the people, for the children of Pakistan?
So I was doing this work, and we opened a permanent center, which was not a burn center, for reconstructive surgery in 2010, and then 2013 we bought some new equipments in Shalimar. Then in 2015 I was very sick, and the board of the trustees and Sayyid Babar Ali and Chaudhry Ahmed Said Saab, they all wanted this work to continue. So they said that what do you want? So I told them that I want to have a proper burn center. By saying proper burn center, I mean that if you amputate a child's arm because of electric burn, you need to provide them solution. You just cannot send them home without a limb. You need to give them prosthesis. If the child is burned and you are operating, then you need, rehab comes in. If the child's hand is contracted and the doctor has operated on it and released the contractures, the child needs to learn how to eat, hold this. So it's everything has to be taught under one roof. Counseling is very important, because when child gets burned, the whole family is shattered. Everything has to be under one roof. So then they honored me by naming it on me.
Oh.
And yes, and it's beautiful center. It has 4 ICU beds and complete burn unit with everything in it, rehab, pressure garments, everything. Now we are adding in one of our Dr. Ahmed will be going to America for training for facial prosthesis. So we are adding that. Sometimes, there is no, like if a child is electric burn and lost the nose, then you need to, and the arms are amputated. I'm not a surgeon, Dr. Saab will explain you more, but you need skin. There is no skin available. You need drips, that the whole body is burned. It's more aggressively if you are working, whether the child will be able to sustain those surgeries.
All right.
Children get tired.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break. When we'll be back, we'll talk a little bit to one of the doctors who's been instrumental in this burn center that Hashmat Effendi has created in Rawalpindi. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and now we've been joined by Dr. Asif Zubair Bhatti. He is the head of department of the Hashmat Effendi Burn and Plastic Surgery Department at the Shalimar Hospital. How was your first interaction with Hashmat Effendi?
No, I was very lucky actually when I wanted to come back home to serve my country. That's one, and also to serve my parents, because they were ailing parents as well. But my aim was to serve, obviously serve the country, which every doctor thinks, and I actually wanted to make it into a practical mode. And first meeting, first job, actually interview, I went straight from airport to go for an interview for the plastic surgery consultant job, head of department job, this one which I've got. And I met the very same day Madam Hashmat Effendi, and I was really moved. I was, obviously I'm a Pakistani as well, and I lived abroad, and I've seen people around working in America, in UK and Saudi Arabia all the time, but I was moved by that lady selfless devotion. So caring lady that for any of her command, I take it as my command, because I respect her, because she is, for me, is not a human being normally do like that.
What kind of treatments does this center provide?
I started the unit, and we have now staff about 30 plus people. So I have a dedicated another of my colleague who is an assistant professor, fully trained plastic surgeon. Then we have 5 medical officers, which are almost very much trained in plastic surgery. They are just post graduation. Then we have a team of very well trained nurses and paramedical staff, and most of them have been working with madam for quite a while.
All right.
And they have that knack of professionalism, in which, like madam mentioned already, the counseling, the psychological counseling, the rehabilitation, they know the knack of that already. So I just need to gel them in a team so they can work in a proper environment. The aim was actually to give form a unit where the pediatric burns and pediatric reconstructive problems and burns problem can be dealt with. But we also want to add complete spectrum of plastic surgery and burns there. So we're not actually leaving only the burns, pediatric burns or the pediatric reconstructive problems. We are dealing with the adult problem as well. So we're doing whole spectrum of plastic surgery. So we're going to get a new microscope as well. So that's where the latest invention in plastic surgery is microsurgery, and we have all team equipped to do that. So we're going to start as well. And then we're doing all those congenital plastic surgeries, congenital deformities, hand deformities, facial deformities, the post-traumatic deformities. A lot of kids now coming with this motorcycle injuries, with wheel spoke injuries. So a lot of trauma patients who are dealing with that, as well as the pediatric burns.
Excellent. And finally, Dr. Saab, if I was asking you to describe Hashmat Effendi in a few words, what would you say?
I will describe her as an angel. So because there are some of her properties which I couldn't find in normal human being, which I am still finding very difficult to find in other people.
Right.
So for the patient, she is mother. And I have not seen it. Mother has, she has mentioned it that the patients tell her as mother. I have seen her doing it, and patient actually call her not for once. She has taken her the patient to treatment for ages. For since there are patients who have association more than from the childhood to teenager now, and they still take her as her mother. And every of their pain, she takes it like a mother. Even their parents are actually not for too much concerned.
But she's even more concerned then.
So this is not a property in a normal human being. So I can just, that's my simple description. That's all of my family, anyone who's close by me see that. They only say that. I cannot imagine a normal person. I've lived all over the place that can do like that, because her is total selfless.
All right. Selfless nature, that is Hashmat Effendi, the angelic nature that she possesses. We'll talk more about that and the difficulties that she had to endure at one period of her life after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and we're talking to the selfless, the angelic natured, the beautiful person inside and out, Hashmat Effendi. Hashmat Effendi Sahaba, there was a period in life, in your life, that was very traumatic, very difficult for you when you got diagnosed with cancer. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was actually in Pakistan, and it was my 3rd day in Shalimar Hospital, and I just had this feeling that I should check my upper body. And when I had my last child, they taught us how to self-exam for breast cancer.
Which year was that, ma'am?
In 2015,
All right.
in August. And I brought 3 children back from United States. One was the child I was telling you about, from Ogi. And it was my 3rd day with all the excitement, meeting with the parents. I went and I checked myself and I felt a lump. And then I asked one of our MO to check it, and she said that I cannot feel anything, but this is where it starts. So then I told my assistant and my other doctors, and they said you need to go for mammogram to Shaukat Khanum, and I went same day, and they confirmed it. They said there is a lump. It was very small lump, and they said we need to do biopsy. I said, okay, if it's small, we will do it here. And so they did the biopsy, and the bad news came out of biopsy. They said, number one, though it is small, but it is the highest grade cancer, which will spread very rapidly. You only have 6 months to live. And it is, and the saddest news is that there is no treatment for this cancer, because it's not developed yet. So I said, okay, but I did not believe them. I said, oh, it's small, you know, it will be treated, because I'm a positive person. I have been taking all these children to United States. I never thought anything will go wrong. I told you that I never thought about it. I did it with love. So then I told my son, and he was doing his neurosurgery in the same cancer hospital, MD Anderson. So he said, Mom, you need to come right away. And I said, no, don't worry, I will get it operated. He said, no, you need to come right away. So I went there, and they said the same thing. But then what happened is that they said you have lumps on your lungs, which I caught in Jacobabad when I was working with the flood victims there, infection, but they said we need to biopsy that, and it was a very difficult biopsy because it was on lungs. In that surgery, my vocal cord got paralyzed. So I woke up and I was not able to speak for over 14 months. I was in a world of silence, where I was a debater. I used to talk a lot, and I was completely silent. I didn't even know where my cell phone was. But I will say this, that that journey was unique. Then my treatment started. Chemo did not work on my cancer. They tried everything. And then I went for surgery on the 5th month, and the cancer was 6.9 centimeters, and it was not even 2 centimeters when it was diagnosed. And they said that this cancer either goes to the brain or to the backbone. So they operated, and it was a big surgery. Then my radiation started. The best thing about all my cancer treatment was when I was in this world of silence, I got connected with Allah Ta'ala and nature. And I used to think for hours, days, weeks, and months. And there was time when I was writing to communicate. I was not even able to whisper because my fatigue level used to be high. So my son always used to tell me, he was very positive, my middle son, Sabi, and he used to tell me, Mom, focus on your cancer treatment. Once you are free, cancer free, or you survive this episode, the fight, then think about your voice. You have to live first. Then later on, after 2 years, they did my vocal cord transplant in MD Anderson. And this is my new voice. They even asked me whether if I need a high-pitched voice. They asked me, did you ever wanted to sing? And I said, yes, I always wanted to sing. So we can give you high-pitched voice. But my son said, Mom, don't play with your vocal cord because one is paralyzed, the other one is barely working. So just go with your real. My voice is much better, but I have to keep a special kind of a bottle with me, because my vocal cord, the transplant gets very dry.
And you have to hydrate it regularly.
Regularly, every second. Pollution effects is really bad on the vocal cord. But it's little different, but I'm glad that I'm able to talk. So in my cancer treatment, I went through two things, you know, cancer and then vocal cord.
What is the update on your cancer now?
My cancer markers are very high, and they taught me, I went through lots of counseling. It was very difficult to go through cancer treatment and losing a voice. And the biggest thing was to learn to take care of yourself. I never took care of myself. I was there to take care of everybody else. So I went through counseling. I'm in 5 different research projects in MD Anderson. I am on their main website because people don't survive this cancer.
And
because
you have?
Yes, because it's always diagnosed at the end stage. So because early detection by self-examining, Allah Ta'ala's blessing that saved my life. So my cancer markers are high, but this is new me, they taught me. This is new you. You have a choice, live full life or be a patient. So treatment is going on, my work is going on. I'm blessed to be alive and traveling and talking.
Yes, exactly. And as work-oriented as you used to be
Yes.
before you got
I
sick.
get tired, fatigued very quickly, so I have to rest. Rib pains and bone pains and things like that.
Hashmat Effendi, you got the Tamgha Imtiaz in 2008. What does it feel to be awarded by the government?
It was a big surprise because I was not even aware that I was being nominated, but it brought me a lot of responsibilities. I was not able to come to receive the award here, and because I had 8 children in America at that time, and I told them that I'm receiving this award because of my work with these children. How can I leave them and come? So I got it in the consulate in Houston by the Council Journal at that time. Akil Nadeem Saab gave me. It added more responsibility on me, and you know, the work that I do, I feel that if I have given this award, I need to be available and serve the people of Pakistan with more dedication and spread the work. You know, we are in Lahore, but we need to, although we are treating children from everywhere, but it needs to be well spread and awareness, so, you know, people, more patients we can serve.
All right. Hashmat Effendi, you are of course doing such a lot of work. You have been doing such a lot of work. When you look back at your life, at such a productive life as a mother, as a wife, as a social worker, as a mother to all those children that you've helped, is there anything that you would have changed had you been given the opportunity to relive your life?
No. I believe in faith. I'm a very spiritual person. You know, the first blessing where the child is born, Allah chooses that. So, Alhamdulillah, I was raised in a good family. My parents were honest and very dedicated. They spent a lot of time with me. Where I was raised in Islamabad, my grandparents. I think everything in my life, I'm that kind of a person. I don't regret, and I'm happy in what I have.
All right.
So, mashallah, I'm very blessed. Only one thing I really wanted to do, and now I'm doing it, is the prevention program, fire safety and prevention. I should have launched this when I started this work.
And what is this program?
This program is to teach the parents and the society to prevent burns from happening. All the burns are preventable. You know, on children under the age of 7, the 75% burns are hot water burn. According to Dr. Tariq, who is the head of burn center in PIMS, every 5 minutes a person is burned in Pakistan. That's he did a research on it. So, and 75% of those burns are children. Out of those 75, 85% can be prevented. It's hot water burn. So I really want people to know that garam pani, hot water can burn like fire. Please, be careful. Like if you will touch the high voltage, you will get electric burn and you will lose your arms. So prevention and fire safety awareness needs to go out.
And this is a program that you're going to begin.
Yes, I met the Minister of Health and she's very much interested.
All right.
So to launch this program.
All right. What other programs do you have in mind?
I want to start the same burn center in close to Islamabad somewhere for the northern people, Murray and beyond Murray. It is very difficult for those people to come to Islamabad for treatment. So I want to start a reconstructive and a trauma center over there in that area, and we are looking into some hospitals, government hospitals that are being not fully utilized, so we can make our center there.
All right. So looking forward to that and so much more from you, Hashmat Effendi. I'm so glad and so satisfied to have talked to you, to have gotten to know you as a person, as a professional, and to help all those people who are watching through this show understand what it means to help others, to help those in need, and to spread the love in the society, because that is how not only do you make a society better, but you make your future generation happy, proud, and as a generation that will work for the benefit of themselves, of people around them, and make countries like Pakistan a nation that we all can be so proud of. Thank you so very much, Hashmat Effendi, for giving me the time to help me understand what the importance of helping others that are in need, and also through this show of all the viewers that will be watching, for them to understand what is the importance of being a social worker, of helping those in need, of helping those around you, because that is the way you build a stronger nation and a stronger society. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll end with this little quote from our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He said, "With faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve." This lady, ladies and gentlemen, Hashmat Effendi, has realized what so many of us might think would be impossible. And I thank you for that. Allah Hafiz.